Absolutely.
But they're my favorite band in the world. But I mean, Brad puts together all with the guests, and Roger with the panels, and Constant keeps everything and registration and all of us sane, and well, as sane as we can be, and Dustin, and it's just like there's so many people there, and Lynn, and there's so many people that just work so hard, and it means so much to everybody, and I just wanted to shout out to them and tell them how much I know that Mark and Shelley love them and appreciate everything that they do, how much I love them. And just, we miss everybody, but we're all here. So I just wanted to make sure they all knew that.
No, that was great. Absolutely. I've got some of the nominees up here, and I want to talk about some of them, and I am going to bring up these again. We're just over a half hour now from the Ringo Awards.
Wow. Yeah.
Kevin Smith will start things off for us. We've got a great Jeff Johns keynote speech.
I'm so looking forward to that.
Yeah. So it's going to be great. But honestly, I wanted to get some of our opinions on some of the nominees and take a look at the horse race and get our opinions. Pardon me, I'm drinking my seltzer, and it's coming back to haunt me. So let's. I want to start off with the best graphic novel. Let's see what we got there, man.
Sure.
So, and man, thank God I got my glasses on right now. Look at all those nominees. I'm looking at.
There's so many good ones. Snow Glass Apples is. I loved it. I just loved it. Yeah. I got a couple copies for the store, and they sold, and I was like, but I don't want to sell this one. Give me it back. You can't have it. But
Penny Nichols from Top Shelf is great.
Yeah. And I mean, even Dogman, who I probably would have never read it, except it was obviously nominated, because it's nominated all the time. Now, I have to admit, I do read all Raina's books, not because I have to, just because I still love them. But Dogman is surprisingly entertaining. I was like, really? But I was like, okay, but it's actually good. But that's a really hard group to choose from. So
totally.
I want to assure CK Johnson, this is only 6 people are watching. No, we're on several panels or on several platforms right now. Yeah. CK, we got a few hundred people watching currently. don't worry about it, but it's okay. I just wanted to reassure him that, oh man, nobody's watching.
Don't worry.
Like, no. People are watching, and people are thinking about Mike and thinking about these categories and these awards. So let's see. I'm going to bring back up the group here. Let's see. Best comic strip. Let's check that out for a second. So, man, I'll tell you, Nancy, I got to acknowledge Nancy, and this is my own personal feeling. Honestly, Olivia has done such an amazing job modernizing Nancy, but still maintaining the classic look. But I love the fact that Nancy is absolutely a 21st century Nancy now, and it's great.
Yeah. I'm completely biased here, though. I go with middle-aged Steve Conley.
Sure.
That's completely cool. Biased, but I love that. I absolutely love that. Every time, it's so good.
That's awesome.
So that would be mine.
I understand. And truly, thank God there are still comic strips, because really with the state of newspapers, and I'm a Comics Kingdom subscriber, the King Features subscription thing. It's a great deal. Here's an unbiased commercial for Comics Kingdom.
They'll appreciate it.
It's like $20 a year, and you can curate your own funny pages.
Wow.
And the great thing is, not only does it have all the current stuff and a great archive, but you can also throw in a lot of classic stuff. And I've been reading Dan Barry, Flash Gordon, and John Cullen Murphy's Big Ben Bolt. I'm a boxing fan, and it was The Adventures of a Heavyweight Contender, and just one of those great adventure strips. Secret Agent Corrigan, you can throw in there, Spider-Man, so many great things, and it's honestly. So I love comic strips, and I'm always glad that they're still an important part of the mix of comics. So let's see, what else have we got? We can do. Let's see. Oh, we got best humor, of course.
Ooh.
And this is
really tough too.
Absolutely,
seriously, so subjective.
Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen is completely underrated.
Yeah.
I don't think it's underrated. Do you think it's underrated?
In most people, under the radar, I guess it would be.
I mean,
fair.
maybe you're speaking from
Under the radar.
your own store's perspective.
I was like, no, you have to get this book. And people were like, it's Jimmy. I'm like, you have to get this book. It's so good. But I also like Twisted.
Yes, sure.
I think Source Point Press is one of the best presses out there right now.
Yeah.
But I also I really like Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons.
It's excellent.
It's so good.
It's so funny.
That was one of my choices last year also.
And to Dungeons and Dragon fans, we should point out that there's going to be some gaming tonight after the Ringo's going on.
Yep, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, Sal, help me out. Jim Zub, Cecil Castellucci, right?
Yes. Oh my God.
Jim Zub is the Dungeons and Dragons king.
Yeah. I know he runs his own game. We one of the ways we got him was just by saying, like, listen, you just get to play. Like, don't worry, you just have to play. And he's like, I'm in. Like, please. Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up the whole crew.
While you're doing that, I'm going to acknowledge Sam Humphries. Or no, was it Mark? It was Mark Russell. Pardon me, with the Wonder Twins.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Mark, it's good
Mark
too.
Mark is one of the best humor writers out there.
Mm-hmm.
And man, he did an amazing job with the Wonder Twins. It's a book that we've all been begging for decades, literally. And I'm so glad that finally it happened.
Yeah.
And it really was. It was a tremendous run. I'm sorry that it's ended. But
that's a tough category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no kidding, man. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, and no disrespect to Fangs or Lazy Parrot.
None to that, but yeah.
No, that's why I brought it up. I really think that's one of the more interesting categories. That I think it's quite a horse race, and really a lot of. And I thank God that humor is back and being done well in comics, because again, that's another genre. We did a horror panel today, and had to, because I mean it's so great to see at a great comic shop how there's a wall of great horror comics.
Oh yeah,
it's not just a shelf or two, and that's amazing in itself. And thank God it seems like now humor is starting to come back.
Well, we really need it.
Well, and I want to, and actually they're not nominated this year, but I want to give a shout out to Ahoy Comics and all their great books, because my God, so many of my favorite people, and I know old friends of yours and mine, Christy, people like Tom Pyre and Stuart Moore and Jamal Eigel and the like that are
Jamal,
and Mark Russell, and that's one of the reasons why seeing him nominated for Wonder Twins. All the stuff that's happening at Ahoy right now, I have a feeling that they will be populating the Ringos next year.
The Edgar Allan Poe Snifter of Terror is great. It's just great.
No, I agree.
I'm biased there too, because my dog's named Poe, but
that's cool.
It's such a good book. It's
a great parody of those fantastic Gold Key and Western, like when they were doing Twilight Zone and Thriller and all those great books. So no, I get it, man. That's awesome. All right, I'm checking the time. I should get back to some more tributes.
Yes,
because we still have some left.
I'm dying to see the Scotty Young one.
Well, ask ye shall receive. 1 second. Let me bring up the Scotty.
He was great that first year. He had us all crying and laughing at the same time.
Yeah, well, he's doing it again. Here's Scotty Young, everybody.
Mike was a dear friend and a mentor to me in the beginning of my career. I was a young kid coming up in this business, trying to figure out how to draw, how to navigate, how to stand my ground. And Mike was always there for me to give his experiences. And over the years of our friendship, we spent many, many hours on the phone while we're drawing, laughing, talking about movies, talking about comics, seeing who found the new Olivier Vatine hardcover art book from France. He meant a lot to me. I probably would not be where I am today if we wouldn't have had our friendship when we did. I love you, Mike. I miss you, man. I think you'd be excited to see what all of us cartoony talking animal artists have been able to accomplish because of your inspiration. Love you, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. And it's so, if there's one student to Mike's mentorship that I would point to, it for me, it's Scotty. It really is, because I really think Scotty really did connect with Mike on a real spiritual level. And also, it's been a pleasure watching Scotty evolve from when he started to where he is now. Not just as a creator, but also a guy that understands that you have to be a businessman as well. And seriously, like Sal, you'll appreciate this from a crowdfunding standpoint.
Sure, yeah.
Like Scotty and I would really, when Patreon first came on the scene, he's like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "Well, I like it. What do you think?" And it's like, he's like, "I'm looking at him, man. I'm looking at him really carefully." And yeah, it was just, and also, Mike did it in a quiet way. And Scotty was never disrespectful, but like, if a book came up and Scotty didn't want to do it, and it was still a big book, he'd say no.
Right.
And I think that really shocked, especially Marvel at times.
Oh, totally.
Because yeah, I mean, Scotty really did what he wanted to do. And I mean, those great Wizard of Oz books that Scotty did with, with Eric Shanauer.
Yeah.
Shanauer. They were great for the book market, but it took him out of the comic shops for a while. I mean, good shops were carrying the comics and the trades, but really it was more of a bookstore product. And it really took him away for a couple of years in the middle of his prime, but he really wanted to do that, as opposed to, doing, name the hero, name a solo Avenger or X-Men or whatever.
Seriously, yeah.
And I love that about Scotty. I really do. And now, God, with all of his creator-owned stuff, it's just outstanding. And I know that it wouldn't have only been Talos that Mike would be doing right now, creator-owned. And I know Scotty probably misses those likely conversations they'd be having right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I tell you what, I do a live sales show 4 times a week, and anytime there's a Scotty book, everybody wants it. And I have quite a few because I'm a huge fan. So if I like something, we have a lot of it. So
I had him. I'm sorry, I had him recreate for a sketch for me once, and it's on one of my walls that you can't see right now. But he did a YA version of Iron Man and the Armor Wars. And there was a great classic cover that he did of Tony holding the helmet in almost that great Hamlet, alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well.
Yeah.
Pose. And it's one of my favorite pieces I have. And it's in that scratchy Scotty style to do the way he did it and everything. And it really is. And it's great. And it's, it's not that big. It's only so big. But I just do it. And it's great. My nephews will come and they look at the art. They love the fact, Uncle John's house is a play. I am Uncle Buck. I don't. I really am. I don't smoke the cigars, but pretty much.
You're making pancakes.
I am, absolutely, with the snow shovel, 100%. And yeah, man, no, they come, and that's like one of the ones that they're always like, "Wow, that's really cool," and they don't even know the Shakespearean reference, but just seeing Iron Man holding his helmet and everything and looking at it, and it's awesome. Like, so that's Scotty,
That's Scotty. He's just Scotty's awesome.
He's the best. He's the best. We can talk about a couple of categories before we go back to our last couple of tributes. There's only 2 left of the tributes. Okay. Like I said, I'm saving, and Scotty's an emotional one. And like I said, I'm saving the best stuff for last. And I'm blabbing right now to get to the Ringo. I'm totally stealing.
Oh, please.
All right, so we got best cover artist. This is cool.
That's cool. Oh man.
And another
choice.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. This is great. I'm a big Christian Ward fan. Absolutely.
I gotta give them
amazing.
My pick's Monstrous. Monstrous is so good.
Yeah, I have to pick Sauna. I tell you what, though, what I love about this is just the scope. It's just everything on this. Anybody on this list could win, and I wouldn't be disappointed. But I tell you what, Monstrous blows me away.
Yes.
Every issue, the art and the writing blows me away. It is still one of our best-selling books, and I will suggest it to people, and they're like, I don't know, and I'm like, just read. Here's the dollar issue. It's actually, I think, $1.50 because it's a double issue. Here you go. Just take this, and then they come back and can I have all of them?
Get the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you got to and that's always so wonderful when you sell an indie series or like a smaller press series where you sell the first volume and then you sell the rest of the run, and you're like, I gotta order the whole run again.
Exactly.
Which is always nice.
Hey, David Peterson is
hey
here. David. How are you, David? Glad this year I don't have to learn how poorly my dress clothes fit.
Tell
David,
Julia,
we missed you, man. Yes.
Hi, Julia.
Absolutely. Hey, Julia. My God. I miss
Julia
you,
gave me some of the best advice in the world about having a grandbaby. So I am indebted to her forever. So she and David are two of the nicest people in the world also.
That's hilarious. No, that's fantastic. The great legend is here. Thank you very much, Johnny Ringo. Indeed. Indeed. Thank you, my man. That's hilarious. All right. While there's time, because there's now just about 19 minutes before we start. And like I said, we've got two more tributes that I want to get to. And I have to keep switching screens to get to the video. So they are. Okay. So where's my guy? There he is. Another guy that goes way back with Mike, and that's Jeff Parker, the great writer.
Oh, Jeff.
Hi. So we're remembering Mike Ringo. Boy, if you want the really good stuff, when we start having conventions in person again, just come up to me because I'm not recording any of that. But there's nothing bad anyone's ever going to tell you. I mean, at the risk of making Mike a saint, he was just an incredibly fun person to know. Everybody's probably already talked about his booming laugh, which just encourages you to try to make him laugh. One of my favorite things I was thinking about was at convention season is how Mike and I would often we'd either drive together or we'd fly together, sitting on the airplane. And as soon as we'd hit the show floor, though, it was like we'd both look and agree later, not get lost and bolt. And I had more than a few people come up to me and say, "Hey, what's going on with you guys? Are you doing okay?" Because you guys don't eat together, you don't talk, you don't do anything during the show. Aren't you in a studio? And we were in Artemis Studio in Hillsborough, North Carolina, for years in the 90s. And then I'd have to explain. It's like, yes, and that's why we try as hard as we can to stay apart during the show. Because when we're working together, we've heard all our stories at that point. We're telling anything like, Cully Hamner calls Mike from Gaijin, and then we get to hear later like anything Cully said, and it's like we're just living for any details because there was no big giant internet forum or Twitter or anything where you could keep up with what was going on in the comics industry. It was all about your network of friends and whatever they chose to tell you, how believable that might be. So Mike and I would, we'd hang out with everybody we could, go to dinners and all that. And just I think both of us were visually, just locking it all in. And then when we get back to the studio, then, we'd spend the next few weeks just trying to remember everything that we heard and saw to tell each other. And it was just kind of a fun little coping mechanism to give us material to discuss at the studios that was often misinterpreted by everyone around us. If I get time for one more, one of my favorite memories, though, is New Year's Eve, and I think it was like 97 or 98. And Mike and I both found ourselves not in relationships at the end of the year. And thus we had no parties or whatever to go to. And one of us called and we're just chatting and like, what are you doing? And like, I don't know, let's go down Hillsborough Street or something and, and maybe get a beer. And that night on New Year's Eve, we just went to a bar, just the two of us. And we played trivia. And you put a lot of pressure on at the time, when you're younger, you put a lot of pressure on having fun on New Year's Eve and making something big happen. But precisely because we went the other route and it's just us hanging out, having a great time, trying to beat some other people in a bar at trivia. Do they still do that, by the way? It's just one of my absolute favorite memories of hanging out with him. And we were pretty good, by the way. We knew a lot of useless facts combined. I don't know what to say. I love the guy, and I wish all of you could have gotten to know him as well as I did. I did not realize how lucky I was at the time. Have a great Ringo Awards and enjoy the virtual con.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, that's this is why I love Parker, man. He's one of my favorite people, and he's just that kind of great laconic kind of just shaggy dog kind of. We just had a good time. He's great.
He's my man from Uncle Buddy.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. And of course, big James Bond writer. And so we had a spy comic panel with Parker and Rob Meyer Burnett talking about spy comics. So no, I honestly I love Jeff. Jeff, one of the best Batman 66 writers.
Yeah.
When that DC book was happening and stuff. And that's the thing. There's another great writer that can combine humor with action. And stuff.
Yeah.
And just do great comics.
Original art, I have 2 of the pages from Batman 66 meets The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Ooh.
Oh, that's fantastic. Sure. Yeah. All those crossovers were great. The Green Hornet.
Oh, yeah, they were great.
Yes.
With our own Ringo host, Kevin Smith. That's coming up in about 15 minutes, everybody. So that's it's coming fast and furious.
That's right.
So let's see. All right. Something. All right, I am going to play it. I saved the best Ringo tribute for last. I mean, again, Todd DeZago, so many other great Dan Slott, so many great Ringo collaborators over the years. But I think Mark Waid is a guy that we all kind of think of when we think of Mike. And and Mark had a really nice tribute, and here it is now.
I have worked over the past 35 years with hundreds of artists and collaborators. And to this day, there's been no one better than Mike Ringo. I miss him every day. I think that some of the best work that I've ever done, I've been able to do because he was my partner. I first knew of him back before the Flash days. I had seen none of his work, actually. I was standing in editor Brian Augustin's office, and we were looking for a new artist. And I looked down on Brian's desk, and upside down on the desk, upside down to me, was a page from an issue of Justice League Quarterly, a 10-pager that he had drawn, just come in. And I knew, looking at that page upside down, out of context, I took one look at it and said, that's our guy. And we got a right side up look at it, and it looked even better. But I got to tell you, that was our guy. And Brian loved Mike's art, got a hold of him immediately. And that's what gave me my second wind on the Flash after the return of Barry Allen. He did things with the way you visualize speed, with the way that you visualize that character, that people are still using as reference points. Artists are still using as reference points. And working with him was just a delight. And then we moved over to Fantastic Four and did that for nearly 3 years. And I got to tell you, that, again, one of the best working experiences I've ever had in my life. Mike was always up for the challenge. He enjoyed talking about the stories ahead of time, but he was always hesitant about putting, infringing, quote unquote, too much in my lane, but which is baloney. I mean, Mike was a good storyteller. So I always encouraged him. Let's talk this thing out. As a matter of fact, about halfway through the FF run, maybe a little after halfway through, I just said, look, can we just do plot dialogue now? Can we just do where I just send you the plot and then you work out the pacing in the pages and I'll put in the dialogue later? Is that okay with you? And he was nervous about it, but he was fine with it. And I think it's some of our best work. My favorite memory of Mike on a professional level is that I went to his office once, way early on. I think we'd done like 2 issues of Flash, and I was driving through his neck of the woods, stopped into his studio, and met him for the first time. Swell guy. and saw how he was working. And it was insane. No wonder he was making himself sick working around the clock. He would do real rough thumbnails at every page. And then he would do very, very tight breakdowns at every page. And then he would do very, very, very tight drawings of each page that, not even on the page yet, just on typing paper. And then he would lightbox it onto a piece of artboard and draw it for the 4th time. And it always looked great. It never lost anything in the translation, but boy, he was just, that's no way to work, dude. You'll kill yourself. He got the confidence not too long after that to really just put the pencil to the paper and let magic happen. He was kind. He was funny. He was always there to talk. And I've never forgotten this, and I will never forget this. We were on Fantastic Four. The then publisher of the company didn't like what we were doing and asked that I be fired off the book. And without hesitation, Mike said, all right, I'm going to. I didn't have another gig lined up. I had other stuff I could do, but he didn't have other stuff he had lined up. But nonetheless, Mike just said, you know what? Mark's gone, I'm gone. And I will never forget, did never forget during our time together, and will never forget that that's the kind of integrity that man had. He was, again, great to work with. His sense of style was strong. I love the fact that I would call him often. This is the thing. As a comic book writer, you want to be kind to your artists. You don't want to continue to make them ask them to draw things that are insane, that would take them forever and they will hate you. So I remember, if I'm going to do like a baseball stadium in a comic book, I'm going to call the artist ahead of time and say, are you good with this? This is a lot of work. And they always are, but they appreciate the heads up. But Mike, I would call him up and I'd say, listen, this scene is in an auto body shop, which means it's pretty complex. Are you okay with that? And he would just laugh and say, yeah, because I've never drawn that before. That was his answer every time to any time I posed something to him that I thought might be formidable to draw. He dove into it with enthusiasm. An infinite library full of infinite bookcases, great. I've never drawn that before. That'll be fun. That was Mike all over. It's been years, and I don't know. It's August 12th will always suck as the day that Mike passed away. And I am lifting a virtual glass to you, sir. You deserve all the accolades that you're getting now. I only wish that you were around to hear them. And I wish that when you were alive, you would have believed that people had cared this much about your work, because they do.
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
I know. We're all verklempt. I understand.
Thanks, John.
Right? Come on, man.
This is what I've been doing.
I think I think his best work was with Mike. So it just is,
yeah. Well, and like Mark said, that unified front, and I'll say the name, when Bill Jemas decided that, okay, that's enough of these guys, let's bring in a new team, and the entire fandom is just like, are you nuts?
Yeah.
And truly, fine, Mark was pissed and everything, but Mike was ready. Hey, man, you're taking him off, you're taking me off. Well, what do you mean? That means the look of the book might have to change. Right. And it really it just shows that importance of the hand-in-hand relationship of the best creative teams, where they have each other's back. And it's like, no, it is a partnership. The writing is as important as the art. And I know a lot of times the scale in the 90s, it was art and then writer. 2000s, it was writer, then art. I do believe that we're in a period right now where it may not be completely equal, but the scale's bouncing towards equal. And I really think the knowledgeable fan recognizes that it is, the writer doesn't do all the storytelling, that really 80% of what you're reading is coming from the artist. As far as visually, it's a visual medium.
Yeah.
Well,
but as Neil Gaiman would always say, sorry, Christy, real fast, it's the combination that makes comics special. and it's bigger and more creative than a lot of times laymen give it credit. Please, Christy.
No, I was just going to say, just today I learned again from Absolute Carnage when they're walking in to meet Peter Parker and there's 616 on the apartment door, and I said, "This is great. Who thought of that?" It was all Ryan. So what makes comics special is that combination. Not saying that cartoonists like Terry Moore, his stuff is brilliant, but there's just something about that.
Yeah,
so I do need to mention a few more people.
Well, all right, because honestly, we are at crunch time. So.
For David Jeffries, who puts everything together, thank you to him. All of the volunteers: Chris McClelland, Alex, Sam, Mandy Santiago, Tracy Schmid. All of these people helped to make Baltimore what it is, and I totally forgot to mention that. I'm so sorry, you guys.
Well, that's awesome.
And so thank you to everybody. And Mark and Shelley, of course, you have my heart always.
Yeah.
And Mandy's whole family comes help her kids. It's just everybody is so great. So
yeah.
I just want to make sure I mentioned that before we ran out of time.
Well, I understand and I appreciate that. And thank you, Mark Nathan. Thank you, Randy Tischler, for what you do for Baltimore as well. And thank you, Sal and Christy, for helping me out on this red carpet.
Oh, thank you both.
It's my honor.
It's we're just a couple minutes away, everybody. Stick around. It's going to be the Ringo Awards. Kevin Smith opening the show. An incredible keynote speech as well coming up from Jeff Johns, and it's going to be a great awards night. I hope everybody enjoys it, and I hope you'll continue to enjoy. We got one more day of Baltimore Comic Con. I mean, and a lot. And then also after the Ringos, we got a Lucifer panel, me and Joe Henderson talking to Lucy fans, and a great D&D session for you gamers out there tonight, and a whole slate starting early, 10 o'clock in the morning, all the way till midnight Eastern time. How about that? 14 hours of Baltimore Comic Con for you. Thanks a lot for watching.
You're doing a great job, John. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Soldier, man. Thank you.
Everyone's doing a great job. Seriously, enjoy the Ringos, and we'll all be back soon. Thank you very much.
Good luck, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Is my mic on? Is my mic on? It is on. Hey, everybody. Welcome, one and all, to the Ringo Awards, man. The 4th annual Ringo Awards here at the Baltimore Comic Con, obviously online. Welcome, everybody. How nice to be sitting around talking about comics on a Saturday night before I go do so in a few hours on Fat Man Beyond. Wish I could be there right now, honestly, and I wouldn't have said that. Maybe I would have said it ironically before COVID, but right now I really wish I could be in Baltimore. It would be preferable to being stuck in the house as I have been for a while and stuff. Hopefully everyone's having a great weekend. What a long, wonderful live stream. You guys are in the midst of swimming and whatnot. How wonderful. And right now, we're kicking off the 4th annual Ringo Awards. For those who are like, what are the Ringos, man? This is these are awards for the best in comics across 26 categories, voted on by fans and comic creator professionals. Named, of course, for the late great Mike Wieringo, who was a well-beloved artist who passed away tragically at age 44. God, it's so damn young. Of a heart ailment. I remember Ringo's work, man, and how beautiful that the awards are named after him now. Kids, comic books are everything to me and have been for forever. My favorite form of storytelling, perhaps. I can't draw. If I could, I wouldn't have subjected everybody to all those horrible movies. But I love the visual arts. Shecky! Talking to Baltimore, man. Wiener dog. Shecky! Why I fell for comics in the first place, I was a Catholic kid growing up. So I was fed a lot of stories about superpowered beings, and good guys and bad guys and heroes. And if you cut his hair, all the strength goes away and stuff like that. So I grew up with stories, morality plays, if you will. Comic books have always been that. They're basically way more entertaining morality plays than the ones I got in the Bible. One of the things I've said many times that I love about comics, in fact, probably the thing I love the most, is their stories about people, whole cities running from the worst thing that has ever happened. And then, as you're seeing streaming, fleeing, screaming people heading toward the worst thing that ever happened is somebody in a very colorful costume. That's inspiring. It makes us want to reach for more. I know without comic books, probably wouldn't have the moral barometer I have. I was raised Catholic, sure, but I think everything I know about right and wrong, I learned from comic books, ladies and gentlemen. So tonight we celebrate the best in comic books, as said before, across 23 categories. This is the night of the fans. It is the night for the creators. It's a night for anybody who loves this medium of ours, this comic book thing. Without any further hesitation, man, I welcome you, of course, to the Ringos. And now I'm going to pass the mic off to somebody who's going to talk far longer than me and has way more interesting things to say. Give it up to the great Jeff Johns. Good luck, everybody.
Thanks, and hey, everybody. It's great to be here virtually at Baltimore Comic-Con. Thanks to Mark Nathan, who I've known for years, whose dedication and passion has always made Baltimore one of the best shows out there. And thanks to everybody who helped put this on, John Suntress, Mainframe. It's a really cool thing that you guys are doing, and I'm honored to be a part of it. So let's talk about Mike Ringo, in whose honor the Ringo Awards exist. There's an argument to be made that without the help of Mike, I wouldn't be in comic books today. You see, on the very first proposal of Stars and Stripe, his initial conceptual drawing of Stargirl legitimized the character in the eyes of DC's editorial staff and helped them see the potential of the series. Mike captured the bright youth of Courtney Whitmore and the endless optimism within her heart. Mike brought a joy and a fun to comics that was uniquely his own. Bright, alive, powerful, dynamic, warm, and above all else, emotional. As a fan, every Wednesday was like a holiday growing up to me. My friends and brother and I would go to the comic book store, excited to see what came in that week, because back then there was no internet, and it was actually still a surprise. And it was Mike's work on The Flash with Mark Waid that was the high point for me. The Flash had always been my favorite DC Comics character, and I loved the book Mark was writing. But when Mike came on, it went to an entirely new level. Over the years, Mark Waid talked about Flash issue 0 as being one of his favorite issues he's ever worked on. And for me, it's my favorite single issue comic book story of all time. And that's because Mike was not only capable of illustrating amazing superhero action, but again, emotion. His work was all heart, and this issue was all heart. Mike was all heart, professionally and personally. When I met Mike through some friends before I got into comics and I was working on my proposal, he offered to draw Stargirl for it. I was blown away by his generosity. But back to this issue, Flash issue 0, that he illustrated so beautifully. It was about a boy, a young Wally West, with no hope for the future, surrounded by family that didn't understand him. But in this issue, young Wally unknowingly meets his future self, a time-traveling Flash, or Wally West. And as his future self says to him, everything's going to be okay. It was powerful. It was what Wally West needed. And Mark's talked about what he needed when he was a kid, and he wished someone would have just said that to him. It was such a beautiful book, and Mike nailed it. All of that even resonates with me now. Mike and his work personifies New Comic Book Day to me. When I started writing comics professionally, Mike's work is what motivated me to make every Wednesday a joy for people. Because no matter how hard life gets or what gets thrown at us, especially looking around today, there was always something to look forward to with New Comic Book Day. It mattered. New comic books help people. This day helps people get through things. Helped me get through hard times. It helps us get through hard times now. And Baltimore Comic-Con has always been about comics, just like, personified that joy of Wednesday, New Comic Book Day, just like Mike's work did and does. And sometimes New Comic Book Day and new comics is what you need to get through a tough week or a tough month or a tough year. We all need it. So keep making comic books. Keep reading comic books. Best of luck to all the talented creators tonight that have been nominated. And I hope everybody out there stays safe and enjoys your comics. Thanks.
You guys ready? Me too. My name is Randy Tischler, and I am terrified to welcome you all live to the 4th annual Michael Ringo Comic Book Industry Awards. We were going to originally pre-record everything, but we got called by the Mainframe Comic-Con guys and the Hero Initiative guys, and they had a great idea to do this live, to do something that's never been done before, at least in our industry. And I think at the time in any industry, although a couple of movie awards have happened in this manner since then. In any event, they convinced us that doing this live was a great idea, so I guess we're putting that to the test now. As those of you familiar with the Ringos are sure to notice, we have a little different format this year. I'm coming to you live thanks to Sapphire Studios and Diamond International Galleries, broadcasting to 8 streaming channels. I am sitting at the news desk from Previews World. I feel like I should be reading you the news or maybe telling you about your local weather because I'm sitting here in front of a green screen and, the hairline. Anyway, please comment and cheer for the nominees and winners in the comments. Be nice. This is a celebration. Mike's spirit was important to the comics community. If you watched the red carpet videos in advance of this program, you saw the heartfelt words from a number of his coworkers and collaborators and friends. There's a lot more out there where that came from. I got an email just before this started with somebody willing to do another video, and so the sentiment is out there that Mike was amazingly influential and important to a lot of people. He was a good friend and an asset to the industry, and it was a real loss when he passed away prematurely. We include the fans and the pros in the balloting, in the nomination phase, and then pros only in the final ballot. Ultimately, everyone's voice is important, and Mike was as important a fan as he was a creator. He loved comics. And that's why we find ourselves where we are today. The jury chooses works from publisher submissions, as well as from titles and publishers they liked from their own comics reading. Voters from over 140 countries participated during the nomination period, including every continent but Antarctica, and incremental over last year. And I say that every year, or at least I have so far. Eventually, we're going to run out of countries. And now on to the thank yous. I would like to recognize staff members that have participated in the process over the course of this season. Steve Conley always helps us out with graphics and web mastery. Matt Merritt he does a yeoman's job every year. He does the nomination phase of the balloting process. He counts the thousands and thousands of ballots we get. He calls out the stuff that shouldn't be in there and figures out who all of the fan and pro really nominations are, and we aggregate those with the jury voting to come up with the final ballot. David Jeffrey is responsible for our sponsorship efforts. Normally, he also does the banquet, but clearly we don't have that this year. But David came in, we came to him relatively late in the process and said, hey, we're doing this live event and we need to get some sponsors to pay for the physical awards. We're doing this thing after all. And he was able to wrangle a whole bunch of folks that I'm going to mention in just a moment. So thank you in advance to those guys who I'll mention shortly. Mark Nathan is our fearless leader and is part and parcel of the process from the word go. So he is always involved in all the conversations and decisions being made. Josh Gold is responsible for the physical awards. When you get those, you will have him to thank for that. His efforts every year have been appreciated. And then John Gallagher helps us with the presentation every year. This year, I would absolutely like to mention and thank the Mainframe Comic-Con guys, in particular, Chad Ramsden, Chuck Lindsay, and John Suntress, and all of the rest of their producers, backers, and minions that have enabled this weekend's festivities, as well as our #1 cheerleader, Jim McLaughlin from Hero Initiative, a cause that everyone should take a moment to support. We would not be doing this without their ideas, their help, their support. Everything that you are experiencing this weekend, well, I won't say everything this weekend, but the vast, vast majority of all the programming you're seeing and all of the production, certainly, and a whole lot of the publicity and the words you're seeing out in the ether are thanks to the Mainframe Comic-Con guys. They have done a fantastic job, and we really appreciate the level of effort they've thrown into this thing, and they're not done yet. So give them a round of applause. I'd like to recognize this year's jurors: Joan Hilty, James Kahoric, Jill Thompson, Carol Tilley, Jean Lin Yang, and our perennial jurors, Todd DeZago, Craig Russo, Mark Wade, and Matt Waringo. The jury had a particularly challenging task this year. The nomination phase began during the initial stages of lockdown for COVID, and publishers didn't have access to their offices. Deliveries were not functioning normally, and companies could not access inventories. So thank you to the over 40 publishers and imprints who submitted works to be considered. It was an amazing body of work, and I did not envy the job of the jury needing to pick from the submitted works in addition to anything they'd read and loved on their own. I have the privilege of reading through the submissions, and it was one thing after another that I was like, oh, that was great. Or, this aspect of the book that they were nominated for or proposed to be nominated for was fantastic. The lettering or the inking or the coloring or whatever it might have been. So what ended up happening was we had a virtual submission process for about 99% of the submissions this year. And it was an adaptation on the part of the jurors because while I'm sure that they have certainly digested comics and graphic novels in that format, it was not what they were expecting. And it was not something that the publishers were expecting to have to do either until we kind of found ourselves in that circumstance. So we did the best we could in the circumstance, and I think we came up with a fantastic ballot. So I hope you appreciate it as well. Our presenters tonight, I'll talk a little bit about them when we get to them, but I'm just going to rattle off their names real quick right here. Travis McIntyre, Tom Akel, Jean Lewin Yang, Todd DeZago, Craig Russo, Mark Wade, Matt Waringo, Jill Thompson, and Jamar Nicholas. The sponsors for this year's show include Cards, Comics, and Collectibles and the Baltimore Comic-Con, as we do every year. Mainframe Comic-Con, definitely this year. As well as Bad Idea, Boom Studios, Jeppy Family Enterprises, Rocket Ship Entertainment, Source Point Press, Tapas Media, and Webtoon. And I'd like to pause here to take a moment to remember Thomas Spurgeon. Tom was a 2019 juror and had a great time at our show last year. I bumped into him on Sunday after the Ringos. I was just hanging out at the guest tables upstairs with Chris McClellan, another one of the senior staff members from the show. And he came up and we were just BSing for a while about the Ringos and the industry and everything else. And Tom ran the Comics Reporter website. He was a staple of the industry, and he was a friend of the show. We miss him, and his presence in the comics landscape will not soon be replaced. With that said, I will be your designated driver for the evening, but please have one for me. And hopefully you thought ahead and ordered or made your own crab cakes for dinner. Our first presenter of the night is the president of SourcePoint Press, and he's a friend of the show. SourcePoint has been a supporter of the Baltimore Comic-Con and particularly the Ringo Awards since our inaugural year. They were new to the landscape, and they have been a fantastic friend of both events. So thank you to them. They are sponsoring these next set of categories, and I'd like you to put your hands together virtually for Travis McIntyre.
Hey, thank you so much, Randy. I really appreciate the introduction. Before I get started, I just want to take a really brief minute and talk about small press comics and publishing and some of what that's like. If you come up the way we did, you're out there, you're making the best books that you can, you're trying to publish the best stuff you can get your hands on, and you're traveling all over the country. You're emptying your pockets. You're trying to put the paper that you're making into as many people's hands as you possibly can. And ultimately, you're trying to be noticed. And you're doing that because you love comics. And while you're doing that, you're going to meet a ton of people. And a lot of them that you meet are your heroes, and they're people you admire. And it feels great. And it makes you love the industry even more than you did than when you started, before you ever made your first comic. And that's the kind of stuff that anyone can really do. If you put your head down and you try hard and you just sort of go for it, and you're willing to pull cash out of your own pocket and just try. But if you're really lucky, somewhere along the way, you get to meet people like David Jeffries and like Randy Tischler and like all the rest of the team at the Ringo Awards and Baltimore Comic-Con. And you realize that what these folks are doing is shining a light on the best work our industry is creating year in and year out, and helping books get noticed. And they're doing that because they love comics. From self-published books that first found an audience on Kickstarter to big 2 blockbusters, they shine a light. And if you time it just right and you're paying attention, you might find yourself in a position to help make the awards happen. And that's me, someone who's incredibly lucky and humble and grateful to be a part of the Ringo Awards and help shine a light on some of the best work and the best storytelling medium humankind has ever managed to come up with, comics. So thanks so much for having me, guys. Thanks, Ringos. And on to the first category. So we're going to start with Best Colorist. The nominees are Jordi Belair, Andre De Fornisari, Edson Ferreira, Laura Martin, and Dave Stewart. And the award goes to Jordi Belair. We're going to accept this award on Jordi's behalf. Next up is the award for Best Cover. The nominees are Fabio Alves, Natasha Altarisi, I apologize for that, Stephanie Hans, Sana Takeda, and Christian Ward. And the award goes to Sana Takeda. We are going to accept this award on Sana's behalf. Next up are the nominees for Best Original Graphic Novel. The Adventures of Parker Reef to Save a Soul by Chris Campagna. Bottom Feeders by Fantagraphics. Dogman, For Whom the Ball Rolls by Graphics Scholastic. The Hard Tomorrow by Drawn and Quarterly. Hotcomb by Drawn and Quarterly. New World by Boom Studios. Penny Nichols by Top Shelf Productions with IDW Publishing. Simon Says from Image Comics. Snow, Glass, and Apples, or Snow, Glass, Apples from Dark Horse Comics. And the award goes to Snow, Glass, Apples from Dark Horse Comics. Here to accept this award is the artist Colleen Duran.
Unfortunately, we are running a little bit earlier than we had anticipated. And so a number of the people that were intending to participate, I think they are expecting to join the StreamYard session a little later, unfortunately.
You want me to talk a little slower?
You can talk a lot slower. You can go into whatever detail you want to about these categories or these creators. Yeah, it's unfortunate that we ended up, I mean, it's not unfortunate, but we did start a little early, and the introduction ended a little earlier than we had anticipated. So the estimated times are probably, if you are watching at home, I think we're 20 minutes or so in advance of where we had estimated. Presenters and winners, if you want to talk for longer than you had initially wanted to do so, to talk about your coworkers or whatever brought you to this phase of your career, feel free to take a little extra time. So I think, Travis, for this category, we can accept on Colleen's behalf, and hopefully she'll join later. And if we get her in the room, we will give her a moment to accept her award in the middle of some of the other happenings that are going on. We'll try and communicate that. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent, great book. Okay, last one that I have, which is Best Presentation and Design. And the nominees are Going to the Chapel, Danger Zone with Action Lab Entertainment, Making Comics from Drawn and Quarterly, Marvel Masterwork Pinups, Yo Books with IDW Publishing, Moomin, the Deluxe Lars Jansen edition from Drawn and Quarterly, New World, Boom Studios, Snow White Zombie Apocalypse, Scout Comics, Stan Sakai's Usagi Yojimbo, the Complete Grasscutter Artist Select, IDW Publishing, 3D Sweeties from Fantagraphics. And the award goes to Stan Sakai's Usagi Yojimbo, the Complete Grasscutter Artist Select, IDW Publishing. Here to accept this award is the designer, Sean Lee. Did he make it?
So it looks like we don't have Sean yet. If the producer can check in the green room to see if Sean is there. And again, I apologize, folks. My back of the envelope math clearly was not aggressive enough. I was expecting to have a much later start for a lot of these categories. So I apologize to all of the nominees. I did see Colleen pop in for a second. Colleen, if you're out there and can pop back in, we'd love to have you back on the screen. And there we have Sean. Okay.
All right.
So pop me off and pop Sean on.
There we go.
Hi. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Sean.
it. Thanks to the Ringos and the voters. Stan makes design work easy. Scott for the opportunity and lets me do whatever I want. So that's great. Thank you. It's an honor. Appreciate it.
Hey, Colleen. Congratulations.
Hi. Hi. Sorry we couldn't get in the studio earlier. Thank you so much for this award on behalf of Neil Gaiman and myself. Thank you so very much for considering us for our work on Snow Glass Apples. We're really grateful. I didn't expect to win, so I didn't write anything down. I'm an idiot. I'm so sorry, but we're really grateful and thrilled. And thank you to our letterer, Todd Klein, to my color assistant, Val Trulinger, our editor, Daniel Chabon, and our publisher, Dark Horse, and all the people who voted for us. really overwhelmed and thrilled and truly grateful. Thank you so much.
Okay, that is the last one for me, I think. Right? Yep. I am all set. So,
okay,
Randy.
Thank you, Travis. I appreciate you
Hey,
spinning
no
plates with me.
I'm happy to do it. I'm happy
Yeah.
to do it. I think it's great.
Great.
These things are tough.
Yes, live studio stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks everybody. Keep making comics.
Thanks, Travis. Okay, so back to me, and again, I apologize for the lags that we're having here to get the people into the room. It's funny. My two of my three kids are moving into the performing arts, and my daughter's instructor through her high school years always talked about how live theater, you just never knew what was going to happen. So it was always an adventure and a great thing to go and experience for yourself. So our next presenter, do we have our next presenter yet? Alec, in the green room, do we have Tom Akel? Not yet. Okay. I guess I'm going to talk for a little while. So let me tell you a little bit about the process that we built this year for the Ringo jurors while we're waiting for folks to join. What ended up happening, as I mentioned, was everybody submitted their material digitally. And because we had some, 700 various pieces of individual work over the course of the publishers that submitted, it became unruly to manage. And so leveraging the technology that was available to us, we built a shared spreadsheet, basically, that tracked each of the publishers, their submissions for each category, their individual nominees for the named categories where it's best artist or penciler, best inker, best letter, best colorist, etc. And then the jurors had this as a resource to be able to access those pieces of work and determine what the categories were being considered for each of the individual comics or graphic novels. The process was different for everybody based on my conversation with the jurors. Some looked at the works on a per category basis, and they look at just all the inkers. Others would look at each work and consider it for each category, and built their own spreadsheets, built their own physical notes, depending on, if they were if they were digital artists or physical media. It's an interesting dichotomy. And it was, like I said, it was a real challenge to get your arms around everything. Normally, come, let's say, May or June, one of the jurors or a couple of the jurors will post a picture to social media of a stack of graphic novels and comics yay high on their coffee table that they're working their way through, and it's a lot of fun to kind of see all the stuff that gets submitted and all the things that they get to read. And that was not something that we were able to do this year because, again, everything was digital. There was nothing to show. So it's unfortunate that some of the recognition that some of the publishers get for their submissions didn't happen in that way this year. But it was something that just like everything else in the COVID era, right? We do the best we can with what we have, kind of like tonight, and ultimately everybody worked their way through things. It took a little longer this year, I'll tell you that much. And a little bit more hand-holding in terms of some of the technologies. Some of the publishers used sharing mechanisms that had expiration dates. And by the time that the jurors got to certain pieces of work, the expiration date had come and gone. So we had to get those refreshed. It was kind of an ongoing exercise and a challenge. But like I said, we ended up with a great ballot. And I hope that everybody has a chance to take a look at the titles that were nominated. Everything was worth a read at a minimum. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, I'd like to introduce to you our next presenter for the evening. He is the CEO and publisher of Rocket Ship Entertainment. He is a huge Ringo supporter. He's another person that since year one, we have had support from him. He's been with a number of companies since our inception, and he has been a big fan and a big supporter every year. So it is great to be able to have him as part of our ceremony tonight. I think the categories he's presenting are particularly well suited to his background and knowledge base. So please join me in welcoming Tom Akel.
Thank you, Randy. Hi, everybody. All right, I guess I'm going here, right?
You're going.
Many companies. I've bounced around quite a bit. So hi, I'm Tom Akel. I'm the CEO and publisher of Rocket Ship Entertainment. And I'm here tonight to present the Fan Favorite Awards. So I have attended the Ringos almost every year. And for me personally, the Fan Favorite Awards are always the highlight of the show. There's no other field in entertainment really where the fans and creators are so connected as there is in comics. But before we hand out some hardware, I would like to just quickly read a quote, which I have in front of me from an old friend and mentor of mine and many of you in this room, the late, great Stanley. So if you'll forgive me, and I promise you I will not do my horrible Stanley impression, because everybody who knows Stan has a Stanley impression. I used to be embarrassed because I was just a comic book writer, while other people were building bridges or going on to medical careers. And then I began to realize entertainment is one of the most important things in people's lives. Without it, they might go off the deep end. And the quote goes on, but I'll pause it there and stop it, because the quote now seems to resonate more in 2020 than it probably normally would, as the deep end doesn't sound like such a bad choice for many of us these days. But for these creators, and the reason I chose that quote is that in 2020, as well as the Fan Favorite Publisher, they have entertained millions of fans with their comics. And that's just been so important in the world as we know it. So it's my honor to present these awards on behalf of those who matter the most to us all, the fans. And there's been a little bit of trouble backstage, so I hope all the award winners are present. And I'm just going to kind of move forward. And it says in my script that I was handed, not this part, but I am obligated to say the Ringo Fan Favorite Awards are sponsored by Rocket Ship Entertainment. Our first award is for Fan Favorite Hero. What would you sacrifice to save your family? How far would you go to protect your people? For Clove, the last princess of a near extinct race of dragon clans, the answer is unthinkable. Marry your greatest sworn enemy in an effort to bring peace to your land. With over 2 million subscribers on Webtoon, the winner of Fan Favorite Hero is Clove from Sub-Zero. Accepting this award is the creator of Sub-Zero, Juniper. Maybe. Are you here, Juniper? She was here earlier. And magic.
Yes,
there we
it
go.
works. It works. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for this award. It means so much. This is the first award of any kind that I've ever gotten. So it means a lot to be recognized. And what can I say? I think for me personally, I went through a lot of hard times when I was making Sub-Zero. And it's really nice to know that there's so many people around the world who see it as an escape the same way I do. So it really means a lot. And, like I said, to be recognized. Thank you guys so much. And of course, thank you to Webtoon and my editor, Paul, for giving me my dream job and letting me not work public accounting anymore. So now I can pursue comics. And of course, again, thank you to my amazing readers and also my amazing team who I wouldn't be here without Tom V, Ollie, Wing, Ellie, Samantha, and Caden. You guys are the best. And like I said, I wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you so much again for this award. It means a lot.
Congratulations again, Juniper.
Yeah.
So speaking of Stanley, our next award goes to one of the winners of the Stanley Superhero Comics Contest on Webtoon from a few years back. Unordinary is one of the most addicting webcomics I have ever read. And with over 100 chapters and over 4 million subscribers, it is still absolutely crushing it. Now, this next award is funny because it's a bit of a spoiler for those who haven't read it yet, in that just a few years ago, the same character won the Best Hero Award, and I had to accept on behalf of the creator at the Ringos. So, if you haven't read, now you know. The award for fan favorite villain is John from Unordinary. Accepting this award is the creator of Unordinary, Uru-chan.
Hi.
Hey.
Well, this is it was kind of pretty unexpected. Just got a call one day saying that John won favorite villain. What a flip flop that is, right? Yeah, 2 years ago, I think Arlo, his arch nemesis, won favorite villain. So I guess
that's right. Sorry. Yes,
yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I wonder if that says something about me. I keep winning these favorite villain awards. So anyway, yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who voted. Thank you to the fans for all the support for all these years. Thanks for taking the time to read and keep up with the story for so long. I wouldn't be here without you guys, and I'm gonna keep grinding away and keep trying to write the best story that I can. Thank you.
Congrats, Chelsea. And yes, it was Arlo who won fan villain. Now John won fan villain. I got that mixed up. So our next creator has over 7 million followers on social media, and her series Fangs has been read over 33 million times on Tapas. Let that sink in for a second, also because I'm here to buy time. Fangs is a story about humor, sweetness, and the awkwardness of meeting someone perfectly suited for you, yet also vastly different. And in this case, a vampire and a werewolf. So the fan favorite award for new series goes to Fangs by Sarah Anderson. Accepting this award is the creator of Fangs, Sarah Anderson.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Hi, how are you? So I want to first say thank you to the Ringo Awards, of course. I also want to say thank you to my publishers, Tapas and Andrews McMeel, and especially my editor at Andrews McMeel, Lucas Wetzel. I'd also like to say thank you to my agent, Seth Fishman, for fighting for the book. And lastly, my biggest thank you goes to the readers of this series who were so kind in not only voting for me for this award, but for their warm reception to the series. This was so encouraging to me as a cartoonist, taking a risk and trying something new. Thank you. Also, Tom, your speech was great.
Thanks, Sarah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, in 2019, a new creator burst onto Tapas with 2 new series, Luminous and Path to You. Both slice of life series that speak to the different paths our relationships sometimes take. These have resonated with readers to the tune of being read over 1 million times on Tapas. The award for fan favorite new talent goes to Sinran, and accepting on behalf of Sinran is Tapas VP of Content, Michael Sun.
Hello. Hi, my name is Michael Sun, VP of Content at Tapas. I'll be accepting this award on behalf of Sinran, who very much wishes to be here, but due to scheduling conflicts and being on the other side of the world, it was a little bit tough to accommodate. So she prepared a pre-written speech that I'll be sharing with everyone now. Thank you for the Ringo Awards for holding this event. It's a great honor to win a new talent category. This would not have been possible without the support of my amazing readers and my publisher Tapas, who gave me the chance to publish a comic with them. And I would like to congratulate the other authors and artists for winning the awards on their own categories, and everyone is awesome. Congratulations. Thank you once again to the people who made this event possible.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Michael, don't go anywhere or go far, because I'll need you again in a second. So finally, our last fan favorite award for the evening is for fan favorite publisher. Launching way back in 2012, if we can all remember that far back anymore, Tapas was founded by Chang Kim and has grown to be the home of over 58,000 creators and over 1.5 million chapters of comics. With digital needed more than ever in 2020, the very deserving fan favorite publisher, if you have not already guessed it, goes to Tapas Media, and accepting on behalf of Tapas is VP of Content again, Michael Sun.
I'm glad to be back to accept this award. On behalf of everyone at Tapas, we are so very humbled to receive the Fan Favorite Publisher Award. None of this would be possible without our wonderful community. We debuted Tapas, like Tom had mentioned, back in 2012 with about 7 creators. And over the years, we've built such an incredible relationship with the creator and reader community. We're proud to say that now over 58,000 creators call Tapas their home, and being voted as a Fan Favorite Publisher at the Ringo Awards is a testament to that. For me personally, I grew up reading comics. I remember having a very incomplete run of Mike Ringo and Mark Waid's run on The Flash back in, I believe it was like 94, 95. And I still have individual floppies of Telos in my long box. So to be here and to receive this award makes it feel like everything has kind of come full circle. And I know that the 4-year-old me would have gotten a huge kick out of knowing that this is what the future had in store. Again, on behalf of everyone at Tapas, thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations again.
Thanks.
So congratulations one more time to all of our winners, to all the winners in the previous categories. Good luck to everyone for the rest of the show. That's my time. Tip your bartenders, and if you're so inclined, I'll be here later to play Dungeons and Dragons live on either this stream or one of the other ones in the feeds. I think it's for a good cause, and other people way more important than me in comics will be in there playing Dungeons and Dragons as well. So tune in, enjoy. Thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you, Tom. So I have a little extra time to talk about this, and I like to do so every year when I can, and I didn't think I was going to have the opportunity to do it this year, but it is definitely worth mentioning the sheer volume of content that we received this year in terms of the voter participation. Every single one of the winners that you just saw. So the fan awards don't go through the same nomination process as the rest of the categories you see tonight. The nomination process is their final ballot, and it is, it's majority rules. So the title or creator that gets the most votes wins. And the numbers for every single one of the people that you just heard from or heard represented in Sinran's case had an ungodly volume of fans put in a ballot on their behalf. And I will say that includes, so a little behind the scenes, one of the things that we have to do every year is we have to look at the ballots and say, okay, so which of these is really just not valid? And when you get something where the best cover artist was Juniper, and the best penciler was Juniper, and the best inker was Juniper, and the best publisher was Juniper, and the best presentation and design was Juniper, and I'm picking on Juniper. There's no reason for me to single her out, but it was we get that for every single category where, it could be Stan Lee, right? It could be anybody where somebody doesn't want to put in the effort and they just want their favorite person to win everything, and they kind of mindlessly put in a ballot. Well, that's not a real ballot. We take that stuff out, and the volumes that were still left over were still just absolutely unbelievable. You heard Tom talk a little bit about the volume of readership that they have on their respective platforms or publications or whatever. That is representative of the kind of participation they get from their fan base at an awards like this and in a process like this. So congratulations to each and every one of them. I was particularly amused to see that, as Tom mentioned, the Best Villain Award went to Unordinary again. I believe that Arlo won the first 2 years in a row of the awards. I didn't actually go back and check before I made that statement, but I believe that's correct. Before we changed the rules where you couldn't win 2 years in a row like that for the fan awards. And it was just amusing to me that the tables had turned to where the other, what you thought was the protagonist is now the antagonist. It's a fascinating read. It's a good read. And if you haven't checked out some of these titles, you definitely should. I was not a reader of webcomics before this awards took place. And one day I was just curious to see what all the fans were excited about. And I read the first couple of issues of Unordinary, then the next couple of issues, and then the next couple of issues. And yeah, I read it every week. So that said, let's see. Great. We do have our next presenter. I would like to present to you the Library of Congress's 5th National Ambassador for Young People's Literature, the National Book Award finalist, MacArthur Foundation Fellow, winner of the Prince and Eisner Awards, Mr. Gene Luen Yang.
Hey, Randy. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for that fancy introduction. It's really an honor to be here, even though it's digital. It really is an honor to be here. So, as I said, my name is Gene. I'm a cartoonist. I am thrilled to be at Baltimore Comic-Con. This was actually on my bucket list. I also hope to get there physically at some point, but for now, virtual is awesome. I do have to say that I think Randy and the entire team is doing a great job. You know, the pandemic has really forced us to be innovative and creative. And I think this evening is the very epitome of that. There's a lot of innovation and creativity on display. And that's what we're here to celebrate as well. So I have 4 different categories to present. The very first category is for Best Letterer. And I was thinking about this for a little bit. You know, I sometimes write comics and sometimes I do both the writing and the drawing. And usually when I do the drawing, I also handle my own lettering. And I grew up reading comics. When I grew up reading comics, I don't think I paid that much attention to the letterer. But now that I've done my own comics where I had to handle my own lettering, I realized just how important the letterer is. Because the letterer is actually pulling a magic trick on you, right? Like in a comic book, there's no such thing as sound. The only reason you have sound in your brain as you're reading that comic is because of the letterer. And if the letterer does their job correctly, you won't even know they're there. They're like a ninja performing this amazing trick on your brain. So for this year, we are going to be honoring multiple nominees and, of course, 1 winner. This category is sponsored by Tapas Media. And the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Letterer are Darren Bennett, Jim Campbell, Clayton Coles, Jared K. Fletcher, HDE, Nate Picos, Cardinal Ray. And the award goes to Nate Picos. Congratulations to all the nominees and also to the winner, Nate Picos. So is Nate here to give a statement?
So Nate was supposed to participate. I suspect that he has fallen victim to our advanced scheduling mishap. And so again, like we did with Colleen, if Nate is able to join a little bit late, we will swing back to Nate and we will present Nate to accept his award.
All right. Well, the next category that I have to present is best letter. I'm sorry, best inker. Again, in doing my own comics, I also had to ink, and that really is when I realized the importance of the inker. I have to tell you that I think that is probably my favorite part of the entire comic book making process. When you're inking, you feel like you're connecting with your future reader, right? Because when we're reading a comic, all the lines drawn on every page are laid down by that inker. They are like the final interface between the story and the reader. The inker's job is incredibly important because they are that interface. So I'm going to present to you the nominees for this year. This category is also sponsored by Tapas Media. And the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Inker are Keith Champagne, Marika Cresta, Sandra Hope, Maria Ubit, Dan Mora, Hyondo Pak. And the winner for the Ringo Award for Best Inker is Sandra Hope. Now, unfortunately, Sandra could not be here, so we are going to be accepting this award on her behalf. Nate's here.
Hey, Gene, how are you?
Good, good. Sorry, I was in a little too early.
No worries.
But congratulations.
Did I win?
Oh, yes, that's why you're here. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, here, you want? Let's relive that moment. Is that cool? Okay, ready? Yeah, okay. So the winner of the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Letter is Nate Picos. Congratulations.
That's insane. Thank you. Should I do my thank yous?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Gene. I'd like to thank Randy and, of course, the jury, and anyone who voted for any letterer, because we all appreciate anyone who's got an opinion on lettering. I'd like to thank my publishers for keeping me busy. The other nominees, Darren, Jim, Clayton, Jared, HGE, Cardinal, the readers for also keeping me busy, and of course my wife. And that's it. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Nate.
Thanks.
Congratulations. All right. So the third category that I have to present tonight is Best Webcomic. This was not a thing when I was reading comics as a kid. And now that it is, I realize just how important webcomics are, because webcomics are like both the beginning of comics and the future of comics. I'll explain what I mean by this. My kids, I have 4 kids. The youngest is 8. For the most part, unless they sneak into my room and steal the comic books and graphic novels out of my bedroom, most of the comics that they first come across are on the web. They're web comics. So for many young people today, the way they get introduced to the habit of comics, to the glory of comics, really is through the web comics. And that's why, for many kids at least, they are the beginning of comics. And second, they are also the future. I feel like web comics are not very old, especially in comparison to other form of comics. And there's still a lot to be explored there. A lot of that exploration has been done by the nominees that I'll be reading out tonight. Again, I want to congratulate every single nominee. The fact that you are on this little sheet in front of me means that you are doing something amazing. So I hope you'll keep doing it. This category is again sponsored by Tapas Media. And the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Webcomic are The Croaking by Megan Stevenson, who also is known as Echo Rise. Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe. Fried Rice by Erica Eng. Penny Arcade by Mike Krahulik and Jerry Hawkins. Rocio Destra by Rocio Destra. Stand Still, Stay Silent by Mina Sundberg. Sub-Zero by Antonia Kruppa, also known as Juniper. And the award goes to Fried Rice by Erica Eng. So congratulations again to everybody who was nominated. Do we have Erica here?
So Erica was supposed to be participating, but again, I think we are falling into the lag problem. And so again, if she pops in, oh, she just did. There's nothing like timing.
Great.
Why don't you read that again, Gene?
Yes, I will. Okay, we're rewinding. We're going back in time. This is comics. This happens all the time. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
And the winner for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Webcomic is Fried Rice by Erica Eng. Yay!
Oh my goodness. It's such an honor to accept this award in this group of nominees. Thanks, Jean. First, I just want to thank God for teaching me how to create out of love and confidence instead of for love and for confidence. I couldn't have known it without him. Thank you to my family, my mom and my dad, and my sister Alyssa, my brother Nathan. I love you guys so much. Thanks to the Ringos for hosting this. And last but certainly not least, thank you to my readers and to the people who voted for this story, who support the story. I am so grateful to you. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Erica. Thanks. Congratulations. All right, I have one final category to present. And this is for Best Comic Strip. I mostly grew up reading comic books, but I did, like pretty much everybody else, I really did enjoy the comic strips in my local newspaper. And again, I had a revelation about comic strips after I started making my own comics. And that is that I think comic strips are kind of like the poetry of comics, right? Like anybody who's written poetry knows you got to make every single word count. And comic strips are sort of like that. Comic strips, because of the limited space, you got to make every single line and every single word count. There is something deeply moving and also deeply difficult about a well-crafted comic strip. This category is again sponsored by Tapas Media. And the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Comic Strip or Panel are The Middle Age by Steve Conley from Andrews McMeel Universal. Nancy by Olivia James from Andrews McMeel Universal. The Nib Editorial Cartoons by Pia Guerra at thenib.com. Rhymes with Orange by Hillary Price from King Feature Syndicate. Sarah's Scribbles by Sarah Anderson from Andrews McMeel Universal. And Wawa Wiwa by Andres Colmenares. And the winner of the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Comic Strip or Panel is Nancy by Olivia James from Andrews McMeel Universal. Now, unfortunately, Olivia could not be with us tonight, so we are going to accept this award on her behalf. Thank you again so much for being here, and thank you for having me as a presenter. thank you for inviting me to the Ringo Awards, and someday I hope to be able to be there in person as well.
Thank you, Gene. Appreciate your efforts here under challenging circumstances.
It's been fun. It's been great.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so I everybody has seen that we've had a couple of people that ended up joining late or didn't make their slot. What I will say is that for everybody that has won tonight or that was nominated and didn't win and would like to record a message of some sort, but certainly if you want to make an acceptance speech after the fact, please do so. Please make a video. We are happy to take that and put it up on our YouTube page, our social media page, share it with the Mainframe Comic-Con guys and their partners to put that message out as well. We sort of debated whether we should try and let the winning individuals or titles know that they were winning and give them a chance to pre-record something. And we really like this to be a surprise in the moment. We like everybody to participate and get recognized for the fact that the fans and the industry got behind them to have them on the final ballot. It is a real accomplishment. If you think about the number of books that come out over the course of a calendar year, January to December, it is a vast amount of individuals that contribute to this industry. And it is not limited to just the things that Diamond puts out, right? It is anything that is serial storytelling of that nature and in a graphic form. So it's a lot of things to be considered better than to get to the final ballot. It's definitely worth recognizing the fact that they made it this far, and you should applaud their accomplishments. So, with that said, I think we are ready to move on to our next category, and the next category is the Spirit Award. To present the Spirit Award, I'd like to introduce to you Mike's coworkers, his friends, his family, both blood and not. Todd DeZago, Craig Russo, Mark Wade, and Matt Waringo.
Oh, we good?
You're on.
Great. All right. A few years ago, our good friend and gracious host, Mark Nathan, approached my wife, Suzanne, and me with a proposal. In looking around at the various awards being given out each year to comic books and their creators, Mark felt that there was an element of comics that just wasn't being represented. Joy. Mark wanted to create an award ceremony that not only recognized the literal and artistic achievements in the field of comics, but one that celebrated the reason we all love comics in the first place. To celebrate the thrill of that first brilliant cover that jumped out at you, the sense of wonder at the worlds that lay within, the sudden revelation that this was an art form that spoke to you, really spoke to you, and that for you there was nothing else like it. Whether you were drawn to the astonishing heroics of the Justice League, or the Black Hammer, the hilarious antics of Scrooge McDuck, or Cupid's arrows, or the shock and terror seeping from the vault of horror, or Something is Killing the Children, comics became a part of your life, a part of you. Mark wanted an award ceremony that reflected that passion, that excitement, that love of all things comics. An evening that highlighted the fan as well as the professional, that embraced the indies and the burgeoning young web comics as well as the offerings from the mainstream. An award that was passionate, positive, encouraging, and supportive. These 4 words, he said, helped Mark decide what he wanted to call these awards. Suzanne and I were honored, and I won't lie, very touched when Mark asked if he could name these awards after my brother Mike. Passionate, positive, encouraging, and supportive. For those that knew Mike, you would easily agree that Mike truly exemplified those words, and a few more. Generous, kind, compassionate, tall. Mike loved comics,
and the people who made them. One of his favorite things to do when he went to a show or convention was to take a tour of the indie tables. Tables usually relegated to the dark corners and back walls of the convention halls, and talk with, and yes, encourage, every single new writer or artist, also very eager to show their wares. He approached them with a huge smile and a broad hello. Many of them knew him already from message boards and comic book chat rooms, and you could see the thrill they got simply by being recognized by this kind and caring professional. He would always find something nice to say. Mike will be remembered by many, mostly for his truly singular and enchanting artwork, his deft storytelling and expressive characters. He will be remembered by his friends and his fans for his passion, his kindness, and his spirit. With this in mind, Mark Nathan asked Matt Waringo, Mark Wade, Craig Rousseau, and myself to form a small committee to select each year a comic book, series, or graphic novel that we felt would be high on Mike's list of favorites, a comic that would appeal to all the qualities that we all loved in Mike. This award is called the Spirit of Ringo Award. Mark. He's on a lag. It's going to catch up to him in a minute.
Wait for it. Still waiting.
In Superman Smashes the Klan, writer Gene Luen Yang transports us to the Golden Age, to a post-war metropolis of 1946, where fledgling, and I'm guessing that I'm not being heard.
No, you're being heard. Go. Go. We hear you.
Guys, I'm really sorry. I screwed up. I'm just going to assume everybody can hear me.
Yeah.
In Superman Smashes the Klan, writer Gene Luen Yang transports us to the Golden Age, in a post-war metropolis of 1946, where a fledgling Man of Steel, still leaping over tall buildings and racing locomotives, customarily faced with challenges of strength and endurance, finds himself confronting the specter of racism and hate-mongering in his newly adopted city. Through the experiences of the Lees, a Chinese-American family newly arrived in Metropolis, we and Superman get to see firsthand the persecution and terrorist attacks used by people who are themselves terrified by the thought of anything different and unknown. With the sage advice of masterfully recast Inspector Henderson, Superman is tutored on the concepts of racism, prejudice, inequality, and the struggles of anyone viewed as different. It does not escape Superman that he too is different. Over the course of 3 gorgeous volumes, Gene establishes a fantastic stage on which to expose the villainies of hatred and intolerance on many different levels. The lessons learned here by the Man of Steel, as well as the characters throughout this clever and engaging tale, are lessons we all need to embrace. And sadly, it goes without saying that it is immeasurably disheartening that the attitudes and injustices so deftly illustrated in this historic graphic novel are almost as prevalent now as they were 70 years ago.
In bringing the world of 1940s Metropolis to life in Superman Smashes the Klan, artist Gurihiru gave us a Superman who was both larger than life and all too human in his early adventures to teach him about his incredible abilities as well as his adopted planet. There is an innocence in every page, every panel that reminds us of simpler times, of right and wrong, good and bad. It is a beautiful city of blue skies and shining spires, the perfect backdrop for the exploits of our young hero. And this stunning vista acts as a counterpoint to the horrible actions of the villains of our piece. The bad guys are depicted as regular citizens, no different than you or me, is the trick here. Gurihiru's character designs subtly tell us that we are in new territory. Hiding behind those white hoods, the enemy could be anyone. With consummate pacing and storytelling, Gurahiru's animated style makes us feel safe and comfortable as the story deals with these unsavory subjects. And as tensions build, the artist's palette shifts, as well as carrying us into dire situations that, frankly, seem unwinnable. As with any graphic novel, the marriage of words and pictures is vital. It either works or it doesn't. In the case of this graphic novel, the teaming was inspired and has given us a book that we are sure will be read and recommended for years to come. I think we're waiting for Mark again.
Superman Smashes the Klan made us believe in Superman again.
Superman Smashes the Klan made us believe in America again.
Superman Smashes the Klan made us believe in hope.
That is why we are very proud to present this year's Mike Ringo Spirit Award to Superman Smashes the Klan.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
That was completely unexpected. That was incredible.
Do you mind if I start, Marie?
Feel free.
Okay. Well, okay. So first of all, thank you so much. I admire every creator on that, your entire panel. Just the fact that you all like Superman Smashes the Klan means so much to me. I am so thankful that this book is receiving this award. But I also have to tell you, because I am a juror on the Ringo Awards this year, and I know it's a separate thing, but I don't feel totally right about accepting it personally. But I'm still incredibly grateful. I'm incredibly grateful. At the same time, though, I absolutely and 100% think that Gurahiru deserved this award. So I am a fan of them. Even if I were not collaborating with them, I'd be a huge fan of them. I believe that they are among the best in the business. And Chifuyu Sasaki and Naoko Kawano, who together collectively are known as the Team Gurahiru, I think they are elite cartoonists. There's no way this book would exist without them. So I know that Marie has some words from them, so I'll turn it over to her.
Hi, I'm Marie Javins. I'm the editor of Superman Smashes the Klan. And I have a statement from Gurahiru. They're in Japan. It's a completely different day there. So here is what they would like to say. First of all, we would like to thank the members of the jury that nominated our work. When we heard about the award from Gene, we were very surprised. When American comic books were hard to find in Japan, we used to ask a shop in Tokyo to send Mike Wieringo's books to us whenever they came out. We lived pretty far from Tokyo back then, so this award reminded us of those days. Our art has been quite influenced by his art style. Receiving the Mike Wieringo Spirit Award is a blessing to us. It was a joy to be able to work on Superman. At the heart of Superman Smashes the Klan, there is a serious theme about racism and discrimination, but we tried hard to express the story with a relatable and endearing art style. We hope we can continue working on stories that excite all readers. Best, Gurahiru. And as the editor, I would just like to tell a little story about how this book came about. It was March 3rd, 2017. I looked it up. Then DC editor-in-chief Bob Harris and I met with Gene at Emerald City Comic Con for lunch. And Gene said he had an idea for a comic. He said, have you ever heard the old Superman radio serial? And then he proceeded to spin to us a compelling tale about Tommy Lee's little sister, Roberta Lee, paralleling her immigrant journey with that of a famous immigrant from Krypton. Bob and I bickered constantly. We seldom agreed on anything, but we did not even look at each other. We didn't hesitate. Neither one of us paused. We both said yes on the spot. And that is how Superman Smashes the Klan was born. I would also like to thank the letterer, Janice Chang, associate editor, Diego Lopez, designers, Monique and Amy, the unstoppable agent, Judy Hansen, and this wonderful jury, and the Ringo Awards, and all the readers who have read and enjoyed Superman Smashes the Klan. Jean, Gurihiru, Janice, congratulations on your Ringo. It was an honor and a privilege to work with all of you. Thank you.
And Marie as well. Thank you so much, Marie. Thank you for all of your wisdom.
Thank you to the perennial jurors. Appreciate you dealing with the technical problems on Mark's end, and congratulations again to this book. I'd like to talk for a minute or two here about this book, just because Gene mentioned it. He was uncomfortable. Well, I'll step back and sort of reiterate. When we went into the process, the nomination process, Gene's book it came up. I said Gene and Gurihiru's book came up a number of times through the course of the nomination phase, both from fans and jurors and publishers and everything else. And very early on, he came to me, approached me, and he said, I as a juror, I don't feel comfortable being a part of that process. So I'd like you to take me out of consideration. And I said to him, you know, I understand your perspective. I think that your work was a part of the, you know, things that should be considered. So maybe that's not the right idea, but I understand where you're coming from. So you tell me what you want to do. And he said, yep, I want to be out of this consideration, and let's move forward without me. Okay. And having no idea that the perennial jurors would go ahead and choose his book, I was pleasantly surprised to see that. And I immediately started laughing and said, this is great. This is a way for him to get recognized without it having the perception that something hinky went on, because it didn't. And normally I don't call the winners and have a conversation with them about the fact that they have won the award, but I felt obligated, based on the conversation that he and I had on the phone previously about not being considered, that we had to talk through it. And immediately he was uncomfortable with the circumstance. He was smiling, but frustrated with the fact that he was actually included in the process. So the perennial jurors, they choose based on the type of work that Mike would have liked. It's a title that they think would be something that he would get behind as well. So I was very comfortable with it. And ultimately, when we talked through what the process was to nominate that type of work, he did accept that that was something that he could bear. So I'm very happy that Gene won. If you have not read this book, do yourself a favor. It is amazingly well written. The art is kind of a dichotomy to the seriousness of the story, of the undertones of the story. And it meshes amazingly well. I finished the book, and I immediately, I had been emailing with Gene already right around that time, just to tell him that, I was about to dig into his work. And as soon as I finished, I immediately dropped him an email and said, "Oh my God, Gene, I can't believe this. This is an amazing piece of literature. I'm so glad that I got to read it." And anyway, do yourself a favor, give it a buy, give it a read. You will enjoy it. Okay, so I would like to now introduce our next presenter. I see she has entered the room. She's the 10-time Eisner-winning comic book creator and our favorite scary godmother, Jill Thompson.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for allowing me and my cat Oberon to present. He's just decided to start acting up right now when I'm gonna have to do things. So he'll be walking across my table, inviting me and doing other annoying things. I also have my helper, Mr. Pettibone, who's going to help me with thank you, Mr. Pettibone, with our envelopes of our esteemed nominees. I just have to say that having been a judge for the Ringo Awards this year was quite an honor and an incredibly daunting task to review over 700 pieces of excellent comic book stories. Stop it. Was actually quite refreshing because I don't get to sit down and read comics very often. So not only did I get to read really cool comics, but I had to do it because if I didn't, I wasn't going to be able to properly judge everything. And it's an excellent list. I'm not sure if everyone wants to read all 738 or whatever it was nominations, but it was you're stuck in the house, you might as well, or you should be stuck in the house if you're treating this pandemic as the actual threat that it is. So, do you think I should start? Oberon, do you think I should start? Would you like to scratch this open right now? No? I see. You only want to scratch me. Well, let's go. What do we got? This category is sponsored by Boom Studios, and the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Anthology are Deadbeats, A Wave Blue World, Drawing Power by Abrams Comic Arts, Jim Henson's The Storyteller series, Sirens, Archaea, Boom Studios, Strange Tales by Vices Press, and Thought Bubble 2019 by Image Comics. And the award goes to Jim Henson's The Storyteller, Sirens Archaea, Boom Studios. And accepting this award is editor Sierra Hahn.
Hi, hello, Jill. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you.
I'm so happy to see you. I didn't expect this, so it's such an honor. I'm sitting outside in Los Angeles, getting the last of our summer heat in. But yeah, thank you, of course, to the Ringo Awards. I think this is really cool. I know there's been some hiccups along the way, but this is a really special opportunity, especially right now, to get us all together in the comics community. So thank you for that. I didn't actually edit this book, but my wonderful colleague, Cameron Chittick did. And so I'm thanking you all on his behalf, because as editor, when you're doing an anthology, he's curating every aspect of it with the Jim Henson Company, who is an incredible partner for us, and bringing in the various artists. So I want to take a moment to thank those artists and the talent involved as well. So I apologize if I mispronounce some of these names, but we do 4 issues that are collected into the anthology. So I want to thank Bartosz Zichtibor, Jakub Rebelka, Chan Chow, Sarah Webb, Odd Koch, Corey Godby, and our wonderful letterer, Jim Campbell. I also want to thank the designer, Jillian Crabb, who put together a really beautiful package for the Jim Henson Storyteller line of books. And yeah, I just want to thanks to everybody again for being here. And that's it. Thank you.
Congratulations to you. Oberon, would you like to open this one? Come here, come a little closer. Come on, you're always into everything else I do, but when I need you to perform for me, you won't do it. Okay, next up, get my spectacles back on. This category is sponsored by Boom Studios. Again. And the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Kids Comic or Graphic Novel are Dog Man, For Whom the Ball Rolls, by Graphic Scholastics. Scholastic, no S on that. Guts, also by Graphic Scholastic. New Kid by HarperCollins. And then Science, The Elements of Dark Energy, Bedside Press. The Underfoot, The Mighty Deep by Lionforge and Oni Press. And the award goes to, wait, a knife. Open things with my knife, since my assistant will not scratch it open. The best kids comic or graphic novel is Guts by Graphic Scholastic. And unfortunately, Raina Telgemeier will not be able to accept this award, so we happily accept the award on her behalf. We're very excited that Raina keeps forging ahead and making enormous strides in our medium, making millions and millions of new comic fans around the world with her wonderful work. And I'm so happy that she's won this and that she's continuing to produce amazing things that we all as a whole can be proud of. Now we shall move along to this category is also sponsored by Boom Studios. And the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Humor Comic are Fangs by Tapas, The Handbook to Lazy Parenting, drawn in quarterly, Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons by IDW Publishing, Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen by DC Comics, Twiz-Tid, Haunted Highlands by Source Point Press, and Wonder Twins by DC Comics. And the award goes to Superman's Pal, Jimmy Olsen by DC Comics. And accepting the award is Steve Leeper.
Thanks so much, Jill. This is great. God. I'd like to thank the editors at DC. It's Mike Cotton, Jessica Chen, Brian Cunningham, Alex Antone. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody because we had a lot. The creative team on the book is Matt Fraction, the wonderful writer, Nathan Fairbairn, Clayton Cowles, and my assistant, uncredited but did incredible work throughout the series, Tom Rogers. I'd like to thank my studio mates, especially Dylan McConis, who posed for reference for Jimmy Olsen all the way through her 9th month of pregnancy. And I'd like to thank all the retailers and readers who supported the book throughout the run. Thanks so much, everybody.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Oberon, it's your final chance. Come on stage with me. Damn, I wish I had a movable cam. Okay, last category. It is sponsored by Boom Studios once more. And the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Writer are Drew Edwards, Jeff Lemire, Mark Russell, Erica Schultz, Mariko Tamaki. Who do you think it is, Oberon? Should we guess? Should we open it? I think we should open it. Wait, can't open it if I don't get my blade. And the award for Best Writer goes to Mariko Tabaki. And apparently, we are also accepting this award on Mariko's behalf. So I'm sure she's extremely excited to get this award because she will be the best writer. And the best writer is a wonderful thing. She is such a great writer, and I very much love all the things that she's done. She inspires me with each thing that I read, and it makes me want to certainly work faster and be more prolific. So thank you to everyone who voted for all of the people in these categories. Thank you to everyone who voted for Mariko as the best writer. She definitely deserved it. And I hand it back over to our next presenter.
Thank you, Jill. So we're more or less back on schedule, which is fantastic. I do want to take a moment to, again, apologize for some of the issues that we've had tonight. And some of those include having nominees not get their face time on the screen. So if you were a nominee and you were expecting to be a part of the ceremony tonight, and for whatever reason it didn't happen, you didn't make it onto the screen, please send us a video of some sort, and we will be happy to give you your moment in the spotlight. I apologize again for the coordination issues that we have been having. The categories that we just heard, well, first of all, I'd like to thank Jill for going through the exercise of bringing some theatrics to our presentation tonight. Honestly, I didn't expect to be spending anywhere near as much time as I am on the screen this evening. I expected a pretty terse set of introductions to each of the presenters, and then the thank yous at the beginning and the closeout at the end. But you're getting a whole lot of Randy tonight. So my apologies for that as well. We are waiting for our next and final presenter of the night. And in a pinch, I can do some of the presentation in that category if we need to. We're getting some folks in the room, so bear with us a moment. Okay. So I think I am going to go ahead and start. Let's see. Bear with me one moment. Okay. If we get our last presenter, please interrupt me. This is going to be Multi-Glyphs Comic Award-winning cartoonist and educator and friend of Mike Ringo, Jamar Nicholas. Jamar has been doing a bunch of stuff for the Baltimore Comic-Con over the weekend with the Kids Love Comics Pavilion. He has been hosting a number of the presentations and interviews and whatnot. So it's been great to have him as a part of that as well. But while we are waiting for him, and hopefully he can join us momentarily, I will go ahead and start presenting the first category. This category is sponsored by Webtoon, and the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Nonfiction Comic Work are Coin Op Carnival, coinopcarnival.com, Grass, Drawn and Quarterly, In Waves, No Brow, Flying Eye Books, They Called Us Enemy, Top Shelf, IDW Publishing, and The Twilight Man, Humanoids. Oh, there's Jamar. Jamar, I just finished reading your first category's nominees, but I have not actually announced any of the winners. So I will let you take it from here to Alec, who is producing. I believe Mark Wade was in the room, and he is representing the Twilight Man. And I'm looking to see if any of the other folks apologize, folks, for not having this all ready the way we need to.
That's quite all right.
Yeah. So I'll let you go, Jamar.
Okay.
If you want to
want me
reread that category, that's
yeah,
fine.
Sure. Thanks, Randy. Hey, everybody. I'm Jamar Nicholas. Thanks for having me. It's great to be back at the Ringo Awards virtually this time. So every year is different and special. I'd like to thank everybody who's joining us live tonight. And sorry for all the weirdness, but that's what happens when you go live. So thanks again, Randy, for starting me off and kind of pre-reading everything for me. Just for the sake of my time here, I'm going to start over. So bear with me, please. This category is sponsored by Webtoon, and the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Nonfiction Comic Work are Coin Op Carnival, coinopcarnival.com, Grass, Drawn and Quarterly, In Waves, No Brow, Flying Eye Books.
Okay, best series, people.
They Called Us Enemy, Top Shelf, IDW Publishing, and The Twilight Man by Humanoids. And the winner of Best Nonfiction Comic Work is, I'm so excited, They Called Us Enemy by Top Shelf and IDW Publishing. Yeah, this is virtual hand claps. Is anybody from the team here to accept this award?
Yeah, hey.
Hey,
Hi, everybody.
Justin.
Yeah, hi, I'm Justin Eisinger, and my co-author, Stephen Scott, is probably in one of the other waiting rooms right now, and I know he'd love to probably pop in as well. And anyhow, thanks so much to everyone for this fantastic recognition. The privilege of working with George Takei to bring his graphic novel, a graphic novel rendition of his life story to this format was a huge honor. And really the reception and allowing it to unlock the fantastic power of graphic novels to so many audiences has been a real treat and a real surprise, and we're so proud of. So anyway, Stephen, welcome to the party.
I guess we won.
Yes, we won.
Oh, wow. That's
Congratulations
amazing.
to the team, George and Harmony and all of us. Congratulations.
I'd like to thank, first and foremost, George, who entrusted us to help tell this story in this way and bring it to a whole new audience. This graphic memoir doesn't exist without him. And thank you, of course, to my co-author, Justin, for going on this journey with me, to Harmony, who I know she's thrilled about this too. She could be here, for illustrating this story so beautifully. Huge gratitude to our editor, Lee, our publisher, Chris Staros, our letterer, Gil Lescano, who also designed our beautiful logo, and to the Ringos, everybody who voted for us, all the librarians who embraced this story and got it out there, all the educators who are introducing this to their students. We can't thank you all enough.
Yeah, absolutely, Stephen. Thank you so much. Again, special appreciation to Harmony Becker, our fantastic artist, who unfortunately was unable to join us this evening. I think it was truly her singular talent of being able to render a story through the eyes of a 5-year-old child that walked a line so carefully between showing the wonder and the magic, basically, of a child's experiences, as contrasted against the sort of the horrors that were experienced by the adults and George's parents and family in particular. So again, thank you to everyone who voted and has believed in the project and supported it. And we thank you all for believing in comics and graphic novels and their ability to share important stories like these.
Great. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Moving right along, and if anybody knows me, I'm known for running my mouth, and I really want to talk, but I think we're back on schedule. I had all types of things ready to waste time with, but you're spared this time. I'll get you next time. So again, this category is also sponsored by Webtoon, and the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Artist or Penciler are Chris Campagna, Colleen Duran, Sanford Green, Rosemary Valero O'Connell, and Mariana Piscasta. All right. And the award goes to, we have some digital foot stomping and rafter shaking. All right. And the winner of Best Artist or Penciler is Sanford Green. Yay, Sanford. That's great. Is Sanford here to accept?
He apparently is not here yet. If he joins late, we will, just like we have with everybody else, we'll get him added to the screen.
Very
he can do
good,
his
Randy.
acceptance late.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it. All right. I hope everybody's had fun today. We've had a long day in front of the computer, but I've had a lot of fun. Me and my buddies from the Kids Love Comics Consortium were doing really big things this morning, eating cereal and drawing cartoons, and also doing workshops and talking to some of the best and the brightest in the business. Please join us tomorrow for more fun, and I hope you guys hang out even after this for some more fun. I heard there's some D&D going on. I think I need to sneak into that. All right, so the next category is also sponsored by Webtoon. I think we're running the table tonight. And the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Series are Banjax, Danger Zone, Action Lab Entertainment. Bitter Root, Image Comics. Black Hammer. So the next one, there's like stuff going on. Black Hammer, Age of Doom, Dark Horse Comics. Forgotten Home, Vice's Press, Comixology Originals. And Something is Killing the Children from Boom Studios. All right, let's get those digital feet. And the award goes to Best Series, Bitter Root, Image Comics. Yeah. So I believe accepting this award is Sanford Green. And Sanford, if you want to give props for the last one you just won, you could get.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I was trying to coordinate, figure out where David and Chuck were.
You're good. You're good.
I'm
So,
good.
yeah.
I tell you what,
So hold on, we'll do this for you, man. You got all the props tonight.
Got all the props, man. I tell you what, man. This is definitely truly an honor. First and foremost, thank you to the Ringo Awards and all of their service and what they've done over the last few years, and just giving us such a great ceremony to be a part of, and definitely want to thank David and Chuck, David Walker, Chuck Brown, my co-creative partners, who are absolutely, without a doubt, some of the most talented people I ever worked with. Special thanks to Shelley Bond, our editor-in-chief, if you will. She's been tremendous for us over the last year, really. Even Heather Antos, who was the editor before Shelley came along. Special thanks to Clayton Cowles, Rico Renzi, Sophie Dodson, who's a tremendous colorist. She's a new colorist on our latest volumes of Bitter Roots, and she makes my art look decent. So if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't win this award. I would think she's incredible. Just thanks to all the fans who supported us, and they're continued to support us over this last few years. Obviously, we're in times that are very unprecedented, and I think it takes literature like this to really bring about some important messages. And again, just thank you for the opportunity, and we hope that we can continue to do some incredible things here moving forward.
Thanks, Sanford, and thanks to that dope spinner rack in the background.
Man, I was shuffling around trying to make sure I block certain things. I got some other stuff back there that's you know,
You got to
yeah,
keep that
top,
behind the sheet. I get it.
top secret stuff, all that good stuff, man.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, bro. All right, moving along. Again, I think all of these are sponsored by Webtoon, so let's just keep it 100 right now. So this category is also sponsored by Webtoon, and the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Single Issue or Story are Bitter Root Red Summer Special, Image Comics. Hot Comb and Hot Comb, Drawn and Quarterly. Second Coming #1, Ahoy Comics. Spencer and Locke 2 #1, Danger Zone, Action Lab Entertainment. Tales of the Night Watchman, The Steam Banshee, So What? I love that. Press. Usagi Yojimbo #6, IDW Publishing. All right, let's get those feet stomping. And the award goes to the Best Single Issue or Story, Usagi Yojimbo #6, IDW Publishing. Accepting this award is artist and writer Stan Sakai. You have the floor, Stan.
Thank you. This is incredible. It's just amazing. I have to thank everyone who voted for me, including my family. IDW's been doing a great job with Usagi, and still had Dark Horse, but this is just I did not expect this. Usagi #6 is a retelling of the very first Usagi Yojimbo story, and I did it in celebration of the 35th anniversary of Usagi. So this story was very special to me. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Stan, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, guys, this is it. This is the last one, and then you can go pee. Again, I want to give my thanks to everyone involved with Baltimore Comic-Con. Even though I'm a Philadelphia born and raised guy, Baltimore is my second home, and the Baltimore Comic-Con is my #1 show. All the love that I've received over the years from the Nathans and everybody else involved in this enterprise has been amazing. It's made me a better human being and a professional. So thanks goes out to everyone tonight and all the nominees and winners. Okay, this category is sponsored by Webtoon. What a surprise. And the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Cartoonist are Sarah Anderson, Eleanor Davis, Jaime Hernandez, Kevin Huizinga, Antonia Krupa, known as Junker, Stan Sakai, Raina Telgemeier, and David Jesus Vignoli. I'm so excited. Cartooning is very, very dear to my heart since I'm one of them. Again, congrats to all the nominees. And the winner of the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Cartoonist is Stan Sakai.
Oh my gosh! Thank you. This again, this is amazing. This is fun on the internet, but I really miss Baltimore Comic-Con. It was always on my schedules every other year, and so I miss these guys. Thank you for the Ringo Awards and the fans and the pros who voted for me. It's again, this is incredible. So thank you again, Ringo Awards. Thank you.
Thank you,
This
Stan.
is such an unexpected surprise.
Congrats. And I think that's it for me. Thank you so much. I'll turn it back over to Randy. Again, I'm so honored to be included in presenting tonight. Being in the first wave of jurors for the inaugural Ringo Awards was an honor of a lifetime, and to be back here in another role is great. So thanks again to everybody involved, and thanks, Randy. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, Jamar. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of the Ringo Awards. As I mentioned, if you have a video that you would like to present to us, we are very happy to present that out to the public. Please send us an email. We'll coordinate the handoff of that. And apologies to the folks that did make it into the waiting room and didn't make it to the screen for whatever reason. I would like to thank the stores out there that have set up Ringo displays. I have seen people posting pictures of displays from bookstores and comic stores of Ringo nominees and winners, and it sparks joy for me. If you won an award, sorry, I already said that. Read these books. Every one of them is definitely worth your time and effort. There are so many. I was sitting here in the backstage area thinking about all of the titles and people's names that have flashed across the screen tonight. And there are so many things that I would love to say, oh, you should read that. Seriously. Some of these books literally moved me to tears. They were just very well done and heartfelt and meaningful and important or entertaining. So do yourself a favor and go check them out. Go to your local comic shop, buy a book or three. Back these companies. Please support our sponsors. And knock on wood, we will see you in person October 23rd, 2021. Good night, everybody.